This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
Well, hello, folks. How you going? Trust you're having a reasonably good day. My day just got considerably brighter because I got the latest goss on what's going on with Cass Smith and her foot. So that's the big news. There is some other news, but I can't share that with you. Maybe she will. Has a bit to do with how much partying she plans to do before Santa arrives. But anyway, we'll get to that. There is some interesting things happening around Australia, and I think tomorrow morning I might do another live just to do a little bit of an update on ships that are in harbours around Australia. Got a very interesting photo today of a ship that's in Western Australia and seems to have a, well, I don't know what else to call it, but a patrol boat guarding it. Now, that's just making sure that people stay away from it, kind of thing that you see when a naval ship is in town. But this ship doesn't have any markings on it, doesn't fly a flag, doesn't have a name on it, doesn't have anything. So getting some information about that from different sources and trying to put it all together and see what we can make of that. So that's one ship, and I'll get you to try and keep an eye out for other ships that may look a bit like it. We're getting stories that ships like it, or maybe it's this one, are pulling into various different ports. In fact, I think I may have seen one when I was in Tasmania. There was one in Devonport. Anyway, we'll talk about that at another time. Tonight, I haven't even caught up on the news because I went out today and had lunch with one of the wonderful folks that follows us pretty solidly here at Voice of Freedom, and that's Starseed. So we went out today, had lunch. It was lovely to meet up with him, and we had a really interesting chat. He's given me some very interesting ideas, some very interesting pictures. And I think you'll find that we might have to have him on here one night, although it won't be on the YouTube channels, that's for sure. It'll be on Rumble only, but or Project Matilda only. But yeah, be watching out for that one in the coming days. We're going to have a bit of fun with that tonight, though. We're going to get back into talking things in the financial world. Now, before I bring her on, I know she's going to say it at some point during the whole evening, and I'm going to say it now because I always forget to say it. I am not a financial advisor. Don't take any advice from me. That would be stupid. Cass, on the other hand, used to be a financial advisor, but she's not a financial advisor anymore. Now she does other things, and we'll get her to explain what those other things are, and bring her on because she's a damn sight better to look at than I am. So good evening, the lovely Cass Smith from Canberra. How are you?
Great, Carl. How are you?
Good. Blue really is your colour, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah. I mean, aside from your today's attire, your vehicle's blue. You don't mind blue?
I like blue, and blue necklace, blue top, blue car, and yeah, getting in the Christmas mojo because it's
there'll be no blues with that unless it's drink related, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's time to get into the Christmas spirit and wrap up a pretty awful year.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been real flash in many ways for a lot of people. Today, I think the Reserve Bank was meant to announce another rate hike. Did that actually come out? I haven't seen any.
Yeah, they did. They increased it by 25 basis points. Again, wow. I think, what is it, the 10th rate rise in a row? I can't remember. They're planning another 5.
Another 5 rate rises, or another 5 basis points?
Another 5 rate rises. Well, today was 1, so that probably means another 4. Yeah.
So, and we're getting them not every month, but every other month, really, at the moment.
No, we're getting them every month.
Oh, every month.
But we better save that conversation for last, Carl, because when I spoke on another channel about the reason why they're raising rates, the whole Instagram channel got wiped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Geez, I've only just got my Nun 2K channel back, Cass. I didn't know we were going to be, pushing the wind tonight.
I didn't realise talking about inflation would cause such a problem, but it did. They didn't like what I said. Something to do with the intelligence of the government.
Yes, well, unfortunately, the supposed most intelligent one of the lot has COVID at the moment. I particularly liked his tweet, "Down for the count." That usually means the fight's over. I'm out of here. But that's a whole other story for another night as well. All right, so let's not get into the interest rate saga just yet then. I've had some questions from people who are interested in starting self-managed super funds. They don't really understand the process. I've told them, go and have a look at our previous videos, but I was under the impression that there was beginning to be some sort of time pressure on being able to set this up. Is that correct? If you wanted to get your super out of Big Super and put it into, well, whatever you want to put it into, the time is rapidly approaching where you won't be able to do that?
No, I don't believe so. Self-managed super fund, a lot of people don't realise, has been around since 1999. So that's a lot of years, 23, 24 years. Been around a very, very long time. They're not going to get rid of it anytime soon. They simply can't. They'd need a massive legislative change, and there'll be so much backlash because some of Australia's wealthiest people are in self-managed super funds. So they're not going to get rid of them anytime soon. I think what you're alluding to is that if the share market crashes and your super is stuck in the other system, it'll be too late. That's when it will be too late. Right. And my answer to that is we'll just bloody well get on it and get it done as soon as you can.
Yeah, exactly. So now explain to us how, because you're not part of Holistic Financial Service or Holistic Financial Solutions in the management or ownership anymore. Can you explain how that, how that sort of worked out and what are you doing? I know freedomffs.com.au is a great thing, but maybe you can just explain to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So Holistic Financial Solutions was my baby. I think I referred it to as the love of my life at some stage. It's my company. I set up 22 years running it. Still absolutely love it. The staff are great. The company's great. Everything they do is great. I stepped down from it just to protect them because everything I'm saying out on these channels could bring them into problems with the government. So I stepped down so that I can just speak my truth and say whatever I want. Freedom Financial Solutions, everyone can come to us, set up their SMSF. We can give them, set up the whole SMSF for them, talk to them about how to buy gold and silver and everything like that. And then the accounting will be done by Holistic. We just flick it off to them and they run with it after it's set up.
Great. Well, it looks like Lindy and Michael have taken your advice. They're heading off to Melbourne next week to buy some silver and gold. So good luck to you. That'll go well. If you're going to Ainsley Bullion, say hi to Daniel for me, who's working in the Melbourne office and helped me set up that interview that I did with Paul. In fact, I want to thank you for that too, particularly because I'm sure somewhere behind the scenes you had something to do with them finding out about me or inviting me in for that interview that I did. I was given some access. So I just want
Ainsley Bullion are great guys. Totally get they understand where we're all coming from. I'm actually on a podcast with them tomorrow at lunchtime. So
great. Well, pass on my very best to them for Christmas. I hope everything goes well. I'm sure it will. In fact, we're looking at the markets. I was looking at the markets over the weekend, and they're saying there's all sorts of instability in them at the moment. So could we be expecting a market crash before Christmas?
In the share market, I expect it every day. Every day I check the market and see what's happening. But it also comes down to how quickly they want to bring this thing down. Like I keep thinking it's any day now, but then I think they also keep kicking the can down the road. We could still be here this time next year talking about the same thing because they keep delaying it. As we know, it's Agenda 2030. And they were trying to bring it forward and get it done earlier. But I think with the uprising of the amount of people waking up to the bullshit, maybe they've had to kick it further down the road.
Since we last spoke, there's been a lot more talk in just that, what is coming next, the quantum financial system. Have you weighed into this at all? Have you read up on this? Do you know much about it?
Yeah, I've followed that all along, the quantum financial system, Jasara. It's a wonderful hope, but I gave up hanging my hopes on it. If it comes, fantastic. But what do they say? Plan for the worst, expect the best.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Yeah, so I think it's more important. Don't focus on hoping out for that. Get all your ducks in a row. Get your super sorted. Get it out of the system. Get it into gold and silver. Get your properties, your mortgages, everything. All your ducks in a row. Then, if that comes, great. But don't sit around waiting for it.
You mentioned mortgages, and that's sort of leading me to where we're going to go with directors' digital ID. I saw a video that you put out a few days ago about there was a lot of concern from people leading up to, was it the 30th of November when directors had to be signed up to this directors' digital ID or cop $1 million fine or something like that?
Yes.
So I saw your video, and you were, well, the gist of it that I got out of it at any rate is it's nothing to be really concerned about. But there did seem to be a lot of pushback against that.
Yeah, not exactly nothing to be concerned about. My advice is to pick your battles and decide what's really important and what's really not. So the director's ID, what I was really upset about when I went to when I released some of my videos was that there's people out there on the market saying it's the digital identity. It's not. If you want to Google, anyone out there listening, Google digital identity. The government have set up a whole website called digitalidentity.gov.au.
Right.
And they've got this beautiful little picture that links. They're saying they're going to link 100 plus services to the digital identity. Like, that's serious shit. And we don't want that crap. We don't want to be hooked into their matrix and every single thing we do is monitored and measured, and where every single transaction you do is on their system. That's not the director's ID. The director's ID is just one more number, like your Medicare number, your driver's license number, your passport number. It's just one more number. We don't want it, but that's what I mean by pick your battles. When I looked at it and I went, $1 million fine if I don't get it, I'm running 20 different companies. I've got to get it.
Yeah.
I've got to get it.
Yeah.
Other people who maybe just set up a company just for the sake of being a director, maybe get rid of your company, but you've got to pick your battles. So, Carl, go to the system partners part of it. You see the drop-down menu for system partners?
I do.
Yep. Then there'll be a nice, pretty picture. How the system works, privacy, secrecy, integrity. Yeah, great. This one, they want to link 100 plus services to the digital identity system. Yes, that is something to be completely concerned about. But my whole point is the director's ID is not the digital identity system. The director's ID is one of those 100 services.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. And we all still, I presume, most of us would anyway, still use Medicare. We've still got our passport. Yeah. We still got our driver's license if we want to drive a car. Like, if you really need
apparently now, though, if you want to renew your passport, you need to get a digital identity to do so.
I haven't heard about that. That's a bit of a worry.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a concern. I will be able to confirm or deny that with a phone call. So
the director's ID, the other thing that I've been trying to point out to people is that it's not even necessarily digital. You can do it on a paper form and you can do it on a phone call.
Okay, righto.
So that's where the misinformation has been coming and getting my goat up, because it's not a digital identity. It can be done by paper. It's one more of those 100 services, just like your Medicare. When I broke my foot, I went off and got an x-ray. You know, do I pay $599 for the x-ray, or do I tap my Medicare card and pay only $99? I tapped my Medicare card. Like, we've all got these numbers hanging over our head. We need to decide which ones we're okay with and which ones we don't want.
Yeah.
So, and that's when it comes to running a company. As I said, I run 20 different companies. I had no choice but to get one. And I've consulted with some people. For example, one IT guy said to me, "Oh yeah, I don't want to get the director's ID. I'm earning $300,000 per annum. What should I do?" And I said, "All right, you can cancel your company. You can go to a sole trader, and you can pay $60,000 per annum more in tax." And he said, "Oh shit, I don't want to do that." And I went, get the director's ID then, mate. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. We have to weigh up. And all I've been saying in all of my videos is just get professional advice. Talk to an accountant, hopefully an awoken accountant, who can actually talk to you about, well, if you don't want to get it, this is the consequences for you.
And as you said, pick your battles. I think that's a very strong point. And that's not just for this; it's for so many things in the freedom movement. Can I ask you? It's a question I think I'm going to start asking most of the guests that I have on. I had a bit of a chat with John Wilson one day last week, and we had a discussion about freedom and going forward, what freedom is, what does it really mean? So I was going to ask you, what do you think going forward freedom is? What are we fighting for? What does freedom really mean for you?
Well, I think where we all started was freedom of health choices, freedom of bodily autonomy. That's where we all started. We all got rivaled up because we didn't want to be forced into a medical procedure that we didn't want. And that's important. Pick that battle.
Yep.
Because, come at me with that thing that might alter my DNA and kill me, I will stand at the door with a gun. Come at me with a director's ID? Look, I don't care. That's what I mean by pick the battle. So freedom, to me, the main thing for me and where this all started was just freedom of health choice. We all should have the right to choose whatever health procedures we want. Then it has now expanded to be health of movement. Like, all of a sudden they locked us down. We couldn't cross borders. We couldn't go 5 kilometres away from our house, and sometimes we couldn't even leave our house. Poor bloody Victorians. Freedom of movement. But going back to the basics of the Constitution, freedom of bodily choice, freedom of movement, freedom of speech. That's the next biggest one. I'm totally blocked on Facebook now. I can't get on at all, just because I post a few things. So it's just all back to freedom, basic human rights to be free people.
Yep. With our money tied up in things like big super, or tied up in the big banks, or even invested in things like property, if there is a real change in the financial system coming up, whether it be the quantum financial system, Nasara Jasara, really the only stability is in metals, isn't it? I was having this conversation the other day with somebody who could not get away from the fact that regardless of what happened, they felt that money tied up in big stocks was always going to return to normal price or higher after any drop, and wouldn't hear of an argument where they should take some money maybe and put it into metal. Just wouldn't hear of it. What would I do with it? Where would I hide it? Somebody just robbed me for it. That they were the kind of, it was an older fella talking about it. What do you say to those sorts of folks?
Well, that's another one about it, Carl. Pick your battles, just walk away. Some people just won't listen. What I'm saying to people, and once again, as you said, Carl, I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I was for 20 years, and then I resigned from that position in the last year. I could speak my truth and say whatever I want to say without that license hanging over my head. However, I am still an accountant, mortgage broker, real estate agent, a whole lot of other things. What I have been saying over and over again for anyone that's watched my YouTube videos is that I believe, and a lot of other people as well believe, that we're heading into the biggest share market crash in human history. I thought the biggest share market crash was the GFC, where the share market crashed by 50%. It's not. Back in the 30s, apparently it crashed by 80%. And
that was jumping out of windows time, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the experts, I'm not saying I'm an expert, I'm saying experts that know much more than me are saying it's going to be bigger than that. And it's going to take longer than that to recover. We took 30 years to recover from that one. So for people out there saying this can't happen, the share market will never crash like this, the share market always comes back up to its highs, haven't looked at history.
So the GFC was, what, 2008?
Yes, 2008, 9. Yeah.
I think the predictions there were, it's going to take 20 years to recover from that.
It took about 10 to 12 years, depending on what portfolio you're in, but it really did take 10 years before it got back up to its pre-GFC highs. So all the people that were in their 50s to 60s, they ended up having to work for like 10 years longer to recover. And that's not the biggest one we've had. So anyone out there saying the share market can't do that, yeah, obviously they just don't know anything about history, or they just don't want to listen.
Yeah, there's a bit of that, unfortunately. Hopefully for not too much longer. All right, so let's get on to interest rates and try not to get me thrown off YouTube, although we may already have done that unwittingly or unknowingly. Another 25 basis point rise today. This is going to add potentially the final straw to the load that home buyers are carrying at the moment. There is an element of online, I believe. Some people are feeling a bit of empathy for those that have been caught in this, and their mortgages have gone from $1,100 a week now to nearly $1,100 a month to nearly $3,000 a month, and I guess it'll be closer to that now again. This is a huge hike for some people, and they bought on the back of our illustrious Prime Minister, pardon me, who said that along with the RBA, there would be no rate rises till 2024. We've seen the RBA manager come out in the last week or so and apologise because he didn't realise that his comments might have such an effect on people, where they might go out and purchase buildings and set up buildings. There's buildings that are in construction at the moment that have been simply paid for by borrowed money on the proviso, or the idea at least, that there were going to be no interest rate rises until 2024. Now, people have no comeback from that. So is this where the bubble is going to burst for real estate as well?
Yeah, I've been saying all along that real estate is going to crash. Probably my biggest role in my firm in the last 10 years has been selling real estate, selling investment properties. Last year, about 50 investment properties to our clients. And I said the same thing. People would say, what about if interest rates go up? And I would say, no, that's not going to happen. The Reserve Bank has made it clear that they're not going up.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people have really overinvested in real estate. So I built myself quite a good portfolio after many, many setbacks of many, many divorces. Finally got to where I wanted to be in life with a lot of investment properties. Loud motorbike.
I didn't. I thought you lived near a drag track.
I sold the lot in April because
wow.
I foresaw. The lot. I just went, gone, sell them all. And people were saying, "What are you doing, Catherine? You're the investment property guru. Why are you selling?" And I just went, I just know what's coming. And ever since I sold, every month the real estate prices have been going backwards the entire time. I think it's 7 months in a row we've gone backwards now, and it's going to continue. I'm predicting, and so are some of the banks and whatnot, predicting a 20 to 30% drop in prices.
Some years ago, I used to do a real estate show. I sort of came up with this idea that we could do a real estate show on a commercial radio network and give people in every one of those markets. I think we did 42 markets. Every one of them could get a house appraisal done in their show every Sunday. As it turns out, the show went to air. And during that time, I was privy to some conversations with the big heads of big real estate companies in this country. I was privy to conversations, off-air conversations, about with people who are responsible for tracking the data of the housing and real estate industries and all that sort of thing. And what shocked me the most was that I don't know if they do it in league with banks, but they are forever talking up the industry, even in the face of disaster, and what is blatantly the opposite. They'll always be telling you something else. Clearance rates are not as high as they used to be, but they're bumping back. Well, that's not right. They're falling. Auctions are not getting finished with sold stickers put up on the same day. In a lot of cases, in a lot of cities around Australia at the moment. The real estate companies, I guess it's their business to keep talking it up. But there has to be a point where there has to be some honesty in it. And particularly if you've got institutional investors who just, no?
Real estate agents, I don't want to bag my own industry, but there's nothing hanging over our head about us telling the truth. We have to tell the truth about the property itself. Like, for example, if someone has committed suicide or a double murder or anything like that, we have to tell the buyer. Other than that, it's a sales job. It's a sales job. Beautiful outlook and this and that, and it's just a sales job. And they're never going to want to try and say to people, the industry might fall by 20, the whole market may fall by 20%, because then people will stop buying and they won't get their commissions, and then they'll be out of a job, and then they won't pay their mortgage, then they lose their house. So no, there's no honesty in real estate agents. I hope I'm not getting in trouble for saying that.
Oh, I think we'll both probably get in trouble for saying that. But anyway, might have to.
There I go. I've bagged the financial planners. I've bagged the real estate agents. Right.
Once they kill all my YouTube channels, we'll be on Rumble and Project Matilda, and we can say whatever the hell we like there. It won't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to interest rate rises, Carl. So this is what I said. This is what I said on the other channel that got us booted. Do you want me to give it a go?
Oh God. Yeah, you can give it a go.
Like, it's nothing untoward. I learnt about inflation and interest rate rises back in university. I don't remember much of university. I drank way too much. But one thing I did remember is that they raise interest rates to combat inflation, because when inflation is being caused by people spending too much, everyone's out there buying and buying and buying and spending too much. So they raise interest rate rises. It dampens confidence. People stop spending so much, and then that helps bring the whole equivalent back into balance. But that's not what's causing inflation. What's causing inflation at the moment is the supply chain channel, because they locked the freaking world down for 2 years. 2 years ago, I was sitting at my desk in my office going, what the hell's going to happen to the supply chain? Who's growing the food? Who's packing the food? Who's tracking the food? And the supplies and the building industry. And I've got a lot to do with the building industry through property. And I could just see what was coming down the line. The builders couldn't get windows. They couldn't get roof trusses. So what is causing inflation is the supply chain problems. And then we've got the floods and everything else that's going on that's just destroying our supply chain. That's causing inflation, and the petrol prices and the oil, and it's all Putin's fault apparently, and all of that. That's causing inflation. That's causing inflation. So raising interest rates isn't going to help, because raising interest rates is meant to be to stop people spending. So that's what I said.
Stopping them be able to spend more money at the petrol station to go and take their family on a holiday, or go and see a neighbour or a family member who might be a couple of 100 kilometres away, making it unaffordable.
And killing businesses and killing the transport industry who are trucking our food because their petrol prices. So what I said on the other channel was there's only two explanations for this. One is that the government economists are stupid and they don't understand the basic economics that I learnt 101 25 years ago. So they're either stupid or they're doing it on purpose to crush the economy. They're the only two answers. And I think we all know what the answer to that is. They're doing it on purpose so that they can swing back in and bring in their wonderful centralised digital currency and put us all under control and lock us down and give us our basic food and take away all our rights.
So we all run to the hills, we bury our gold and silver under an unmarked tree and pick up our rifle, dig ourselves a foxhole and take cover. Is that what we're going to do? Pretty much what I'm doing. Great advice, folks. Great advice.
And that's just one other thing that, like, I talk to clients about all day long is I used to, for the last 20 years, I've done nothing but consult with people about building wealth, growing wealth, protecting wealth, property portfolios, share portfolios, superannuation, derivatives, currencies, you name it, I did it. Now it's none of that. It's about protecting what we've got and weathering the storm till we get to the other side. And back to gold and silver, if you've got gold and silver, a physical hard metal stored in your house or buried under a tree, that's far better than any of the other wealth strategies that are around anymore. Like, I'm not talking to people about buying properties and portfolios and shares. And it's like, no, get out of all of that. Get yourself gold and silver and sit back and wait.
So, of the percentage of people that walk in your door, in your business door, how many of them are looking for either straight out to get into or to buy gold or silver or another precious metal, or are looking to buy property without considering gold or precious metal, or a mixture of both sorts of sides?
What I'd probably
Is the
say to
ratio
that is,
changed?
yeah, maybe about, definitely changed. Previously, it was all about property portfolios. Now, I would say, 60% of the people coming to me, but it's through the Freedom Network. It's not normal run-of-the-mill people. It's through the Freedom Network. 60% are coming to me saying, yep, I want gold and silver, set me up, SMSF, let me do it. The other 40% are confused. And they're just going, I don't know, I don't understand, I'm in shock, I don't know what to do. Cass, what do I do? And all I can say is gold and silver, or rural properties, so you can run to the hill and grow your own food.
So I was asked a question the other day, and this question sort of triggered it for me. The failing currencies are causing inflation too, and obviously purchasing power is down. People are collecting coins. If we're not using coins in whatever comes next with the quantum financial system or Nasara Jasara, will there still be, do you think, a collector's market for, the coins of maybe the coins we're collecting today from years ago? Or will this money be looked at shamefully and shunned?
Depends what coins you're talking about, Carly. You're talking about gold and silver?
No, I'm talking about things like the florin, or there are certain pennies, there are certain, I suppose, the ones that are worth money these days. It's only worth fiat money, though.
Yeah, no, I'm just recommending gold and silver. Not collectible coins, nothing like that. Just gold and silver, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens, gold and silver is still needed in everything that we build. The iPhones, the satellites, the cars, the everything. Gold and silver is needed. So no matter what happens, it's always got a value.
I had a lady write to me, said she spent $280,000 investing in a painting rather than gold and silver.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
Good luck with that.
It'd have to be a big painting for me.
I'd sell it while the going's good, because it's not going to be worth anything in the new world.
Well, that is the thing I was getting to. Fine art collections, fine coin. Don't worry about stamps. Of first-hand experience, my sister had been collecting stamps, well, since she was a very little girl. My father tried to get us both into it, but Lisa took it up. She's been collecting all the way through and been quite an avid collector about it. She inherited Dad's stamp collection, which was quite extensive when he passed away, and found that the whole lot, when she went off to try and turn it over into something she could use, got discovered it was worth about $14.20. So
it's got to be the hard physical asset. Gold and silver have a fundamental value no matter what happens. Even when people say to me, well, what about when centralized digital currency comes in? What are you going to do then? Well, gold and silver still has that fundamental value. And the gold dealers, they know where we're coming from. And no matter what happens, there'll be a market for gold and silver, even if it's a black market.
Yeah, right. Wow. Well, I don't think it'll be that.
No, I don't either.
From everything we've
I don't either. Just people ask me like a worst case scenario. So, that's the worst case scenario, is that it's a black market, and that will be fine as well.
So what about people who can't, like me, get their super out, or getting it out's just going to cause more problems or cost more than it's worth to get out?
Well, you can, Carl, if you join in with other people. So your issue was a low balance, and we do get a lot of people that come in with a low balance. If you get 6 people that join together, fine.
Right, okay.
You've got to find. It doesn't even have to be 6. It can be 2 or 3 or 4 like-minded people willing to come together, and then we can get it done.
Right. There you go. I think I knocked back one of those offers saying, no, I couldn't do that because I didn't qualify.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you can. You can. So put it out there, Carl. Get 4 other people to join you. And
Danielle, if you haven't gone to, well, there was a lady named Danielle, I think, who was going to contact you and put it all together, and she was putting it all together a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I'm sorry, no, I didn't think I could be part of it. So
no, you can. So
well, there is hope. There is hope. I'd basically given it up that my when I looked at the super account last, it was 26,000 and a few dollars. When I looked at it recently, it's now 24,000 and a few dollars.
Yeah, the market's tanking every single day.
Yeah. So it just keeps on going backwards. So
I'm sure after this show, Carl, you'll have heaps of people contact you, and we can get it done.
Wonderful. Well,
so anyone, I'll put it out there, anyone can do self-managed super fund. Even if you did have that low balance, Carl, we could still do it for you. It's just that the fees are going to be pretty high. It's better if you can join with a group of people to make it worthwhile. But anyone can do it. The government can't say no. They can't shut it down. It's in legislation. It's been around since 1999. I've been doing it for 20 plus years. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's more about getting your money out of the share market before it crashes totally.
Yeah. Well, certainly that's where all mine is. So
the other thing you can do, I know I've mentioned it before, is even if you have to stay where you are at the moment, you can contact your super fund. Once again, this is not financial advice. This is just, a tip. You can contact your super fund and transfer it into a cash portfolio. Then if the share market crashes, you're not in the share market, you're in a cash portfolio. And if anyone that doesn't understand that, you can just ring your super fund and say, hey, I want to go to a cash portfolio. How do I do it?
Yep. Awesome. All right. Ho, ho, ho. I don't see you wearing tinsel just yet. So you're not terribly Christmasified. But
tomorrow I will be. We've got our Freedom Financial Solutions FFS Christmas party. We'll be having some fun.
So you'll be tinsel covered tomorrow. That'll be great. Look like Santa's elf sneezed on you or something. That'll be fabulous. But what are you doing for Christmas? You going away on holidays? Are you jetting away to fabulous parts of the world, or are you staying at home to catch?
I'm running to the hills. I think I've mentioned on a few podcasts that I've got involved in a community project where we've bought land as a community, and I'm going to there for Christmas for as long as I want to stay there, and until I feel rested enough to come back to the front line.
Beautiful. That sounds like a really relaxing Christmas, New Year.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, excellent. You were mentioning that I think when I was down in Canberra and we did the show from your boardroom, that you had a Queensland parcel that you were trying to get up. How did you go with that?
It's done. Settled last Friday. We're in. We've moved in.
Oh, wonderful! Great! Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's a plan going forward then.
Yeah, and it's a prototype. So we're still massaging a few things and trying to work out the best legal structure, the best community structure, how to we're going to build community kitchens and community centers and facilities for like workshops and anything anyone wants to do. So we're still massaging all that, getting it all together as a package, and then hopefully we'll roll it out going forward to other projects and other land and to other groups, because, as I said, the financial world is about to shit itself, and we run to the hills and form community and grow our own food and have our own group of people looking after each other.
Yeah. Yep. And that is the way forward. Maybe we can start establishing my places in your community. That'd be a bloody great.
Yeah. That's all part of it. Absolutely all part of it. So on that, if anyone wants to contact me, we don't have any projects or land at the moment, but I am keeping a database of just names and what state you're in or what state you want to be in, so that when we do find other land, I can put it out to that database and say, okay, we've got another project. Who's interested?
Yeah, great. That's awesome. So the one that I'm talking about in Queensland, I think, was in the Gold Coast hinterland, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In a little town near Canungra, which is just a lovely, beautiful little hippie village. I just love it. I walk down the street and just feel like I'm at home. So.
Yeah, the Windmill Cafe. Been in there many a time for a coffee and a pie.
And they all
and
ride
the
their
winery just up the road.
They all the
Yeah,
bikers
that's
all
right.
run through, and it's lovely place, and can't wait to get there and get this up and running.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful part of the world. I used to be part of a balloon crew who flew balloons out of there every day. So that was a lot of fun. Beautiful part of the world. And, well, there are plenty of other beautiful parts of the world. And I know some people with some land for East down in Gippsland. I want to say East Sale. That'd put it somewhere near the RAF base. But I'm not sure that they're up for selling it, but they're looking to do community-based stuff on it as well. There is talk of it happening up near Harvey Bay. We're looking for some land. There is 2 people that I'm in touch with who are very keen to look at hemp construction, hemp housing. And in fact, one lady, Wendy, beautiful soul, is importing the machine that makes the hemp walls. So there are those options where, hemp is very cheap to produce, very cheap to manufacture, and very, very, very good with its insulation factors and everything else that keeps you warm in winter and cold in summer, or cool in summer. So the designs can be pretty out there too. I've seen everything from pyramids to complete globes. So
and we're looking at doing things like this on this land. So we're doing dome homes and gnome homes and tree homes and in the earth homes and all sorts of and container homes and all of that. So it's all, as I said, like a prototype to then roll out to other communities.
Well, if you need help, I can certainly hook you up with Wendy, who's got all the information of the machines. And I know that there are folks who are looking to start growing hemp. I know under license it can be difficult to get or be allowed to grow hemp. I'm told that it's also, and I know nothing about growing stuff, so I could be, being told lies. I'm told that it'll grow practically anywhere and doesn't need a huge amount of water. So it is something that we can get and use. I'm not talking about the kind of hemp that you grow and package up in plastic, bags, suck all the air out of and smoke. I'm talking about the stuff that you turn into ropes and houses.
Absolutely.
And it's quite an exciting future, I think.
And that's why they've tried to shut down the industry, because it competes too much against everything else. So of course it's got to go. But it is the way of the future as well, and we're looking at all of that.
So the people are waking up to the idea, community living. I think, the My Place mantra is getting through. The idea of what you're putting together is exactly what we want. And of course, just about anybody with land can do this. The fact is you're just putting groups together that want to buy the land, and you're looking at land in reasonably nice places. Out the back there near Canungra won't be cheap, regardless how big a patch of land you're buying. But there are other places, maybe not in the back of the Gold Coast hinterland, that are a little bit more cost effective for those people wanting to buy in. And
and so where I came into all that was the financial structure, because people had the land, they had the ideas, they wanted to do community. Some of the people we've got joining us are like building communities in Guatemala, coming to Australia to be part of this community. It's amazing. Wow. But they needed the financial structure, the legal structure. So that's what I mean by the prototype. We've put the land, the idea of the community, the financial structure, and the legal structure all together to make it work. Yeah. So as far as I know, I can't say it's one of a kind, but it's certainly the first one I've been involved in. I've been working with a lot of people trying to get community together, and it hasn't worked until now. But now I think we've got a structure that we can roll on moving forward.
Really looking forward to hear how that rolls out next year. And as the community grows, anything that we can do to help, obviously. Be very, very glad to come down and do a show when you want to throw the doors open.
Whenever. Come Gold Coast. We'll do a show out of Camp Kitchen.
we can do a show out of Cass's kitchen because Canungra is maybe an hour and a little bit from me. So
okay. Well, once I'm up there, maybe in January we can do a show.
Absolutely, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Well, I do hope you have a really, really great Christmas. Will the foot be recovered before Santa has to arrive down a chimney and deliver his sack upon you?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I heal really quickly.
Great. So you'll be running on the beach Baywatch style?
Maybe I could run on the beach. Not going to run in hard shoes anytime soon, but maybe running on the beach, yep.
Very good. Well, look after yourselves. I hope you and yours have a really fabulous Christmas if we don't get a chance to catch up with you before then. And I think I'm going to try and get a bit of a Christmas party thing happening in the lead up to Christmas. But a lot of the folks that I speak to, like yourself, will be heavily involved with Christmas parties during that week, and getting a hold of them might be a bit hard.
Yeah. Let me know if you're doing a virtual. Let me know when. I'll log on.
Yeah, great. Excellent. All right. Love that. Well, yeah, have a great Christmas, you and yours, and a very happy 2023. I'm sure it's going to be great for us all. I've got a really positive feeling for next year, and we'll obviously talk if I can find 4 or 6 others who want to join in and see if they can get their small amount of super joined in together too. Maybe we can do something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Yeah. Well, lovely to talk to you again, Carl. Let's be in touch, and we'll do a show in January.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much, and enjoy your night.
Okay, you too. All right.
Cheers. That's Cass Smith from Canberra, and you can go and check out Holistic Financial Services or, of course, freedomffs.com, which is a great site, great name. I love it. Thanks for your joining in tonight, folks. We will have a little bit of an Intel update tomorrow. I'll try and do that around about midday or 11 a.m., midday Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Unless I get really carried away later tonight. I'm just compiling a lot of photos and a lot of images, a bit of detail that I've had come in. And I've got about 6 phone messages I have to get back to. So to try and confirm or deny a few things. But there is some interesting things floating around in our harbours, and we're starting to get a lot of pictures of them. Thank you, folks, for coming on again and being with us tonight. I'm sure you got something out of Cass's visit with us tonight. I've got nothing but the highest respect for her. She's treated us here at the Voice of Freedom very, very well, and has helped open doors for us that we didn't really think were going to ever be possible. And she's helped so many people. I've had so many folks come up to me at different events around the country, just saying, can you please thank Cass? She's helped us so much. She sorted us out. She did this, she did that. So, good people. Hang out with good people. That's the way to do it. Until tomorrow, have yourself a very happy evening and stay off the roads. There's a heap of dickheads there.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!